I will talk about religion. I will first state on a question that I'm sure most of the population will agree with. Not only will the population agree with, but the court agrees with as well. You take a 2-year-old, put him in a room with a loaded gun, and all of a sudden, something happens. The 2-year-old either harms himself or someone else with a loaded gun and being left alone. So the parents are held responsible, correct? Because the parents were negligent and they know better because they are higher and they are just know better than that. So they are held negligent, and that is a true court of law. So how come that is when God creates uranium and plutonium, which is the materials of nuclear weapons, how come God is not held responsible for nuclear war? Because God himself made plutonium and uranium and just left it here. God made everything. He didn't have to make plutonium and uranium. Actually, he did, because by the scientific terms, there was no plutonium or uranium. The plate tectonics would not work, and if the plate tectonics did not work, the volcanoes would not give off the minerals necessary for life. The minerals that algae depends on to live off of volcanoes. So yes, there is a real reason for uranium and plutonium, but God is all-knowing. He could create anything. So why couldn't he have made something like that to create the plate tectonics, but yet, at the same time, not make it the capability of a nuclear weapon? Because he could do anything. He's an amazing God. So God should be held responsible for nuclear war. He knows better, and he negligently put it around. Plutonium and uranium, knowing that we could use it. So how come God's not held responsible for that? People say, oh, humans have free will. A 2-year-old has free will. So how come if a 2-year-old has free will, the parents leave him alone in the room with a gun, which is basically what God did, because he left the room, the world, and basically left all kinds of loaded guns around to possibly become negligent disasters. But he's not held responsible. I mean, God kind of seems like a pimp. He just kind of creates something, create a kid, fuck the world, and just kind of, abandon it. So, I mean, how come God is not held responsible? He knows better than us. Or how about this? How stupid is this? God created everything on earth. So without his creations, we could not create pollution. Because all of the chemicals and minerals on this earth that we can use and that create byproducts, such as pollution, are in fact things that God created. So why would God make a planet, make humans, and make planet Earth, and at the same time knowing that he created something, because he's all-knowing, that could actually pollute and destroy his planet? Does that make any sense? Or what about the nuclear weapon? We create a nuclear weapon, we create the materials and put them together, and the reaction of a detonation, which will create an explosion. Now, people die from that explosion, for instance. All of a sudden, we're playing God because we ourselves did something in order for that to happen. Or what about if someone goes down the street, shoots someone in the face, and they die? Did God do that? No. That person played God and shot someone and therefore killed someone. Therefore, they played God because we have the ability to manipulate our surroundings. I mean, I could just take something in my house, throw it against a wall, and break it. I'm playing God by breaking it. I could also tape it together with duct tape. I created a new invention. So everything we do on this planet creates or destroys things and manipulates and changes things. So my opinion is we are God ourselves. I mean, we have created tomato plants that once had tomatoes as big as blueberries, and we created them into tomatoes that are as big as oranges. So we play God, and not only do we play God, but we made a better invention than God did. Why didn't God make the juicy orange-sized tomatoes in the first place? Well, it doesn't make any sense for him to make half-assed products when he has the capability to go further. It's stupid. Doesn't make any sense. But nothing makes sense. How about the Garden of Eden? And people say, God is loving, He loves you. He's patient and forgiving, but He cannot forgive you for the Garden of Eden when someone a long time ago, 10,000 generations ago, ate the stupid apple. He's so forgiving that He can't forgive that? Does anyone see the hypocrisy behind that? And why would God give a shit? He's so powerful that He probably doesn't give a shit about anything. If you're that powerful, you don't get pissed off. You wouldn't get depressed or even care. I mean, you'd want your creation to do well. But if you're that powerful, you would not have feelings like us, because you're so powerful you could just be in a constant opiate all the time and you wouldn't even care if someone ate the apple. So I think that's bullshit as well. I mean, how come people, like 2 billion people on this earth, could hear the statement, God is forgiving, but He cannot forgive you for the Garden of Eden, eating an apple? Just that statement alone should make these 2 billion people say, what the fuck am I believing in? But no, people just are in like a mindless self-indulgence of opiate. But here we go, here's the end.